What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we are going to be talking about the Detroit Lions offseason, grading how they filled out their needs. Let's get it started. All right, y'all, so I know some of you guys are sitting at home, you're like, oh, I see your Stafford jersey. And yes, we're wearing a Stafford jersey because today we are going to be praising the heck out of the Lions for what they did in free agency and the offseason as a whole. What the Detroit Lions did to fill out these needs that, man, I wanted to fill. I mean, literally, a lot of the things that I was saying, like, please do this, please, they did it. And they were just doing it, and they were doing it, and they replaced them in a way that they did better than I even could have thought. You know, even my, like, this how I would do it, this how I would do it, I think they did it better. So I'm praising the heck out of the Lions today. I'm wearing the Lions jersey. You know, we repping today, man. This is an exciting day. Don't wear a ton. There are still tags on it. I'm not returning it. Okay, stop saying that. This is my guy. Obviously, you know, it's my favorite player right now. But I got to wear the jersey. So some of you are looking like, oh, man, I ain't got a jersey. So I can't, you know, watch and wear a jersey at the same time. You know, some of you, if you got a jersey, put it on so we can watch and I don't know. But if you don't, you're like, I don't got one. Or you're like, I don't really like my mind. Okay, here's what you can do. You can click the link in the description. All right. You can go to the one that says Dot Shop. Boom. And you can buy a shirt that says Revenge Tour with the schedule on the back, dog. I'm telling you, that's clean. That thing is going to go big, man. I'm telling you, they're going to be big. They're going to be big. Get one now, man. I already ordered 2 of them. I ordered them as soon as I dropped them. So, boom, man. Make sure you go check them out. And if you are a Hall of Fame member and you don't get one, what are you doing? You're getting a discount. Just go to the community and, yeah, man. Let's just get this started. So I went and looked up one of my videos on when I talked about what the Lions' needs were for 2020 heading into the offseason. So I was like, all right, what are the Lions' needs? You know, what did I think their needs were? And here's my list. At number 1, I had defense tackle. At number 2, I had offensive line. Number 3, I had linebacker, corner, and edge. Now, let me explain why I had those. So at the time, we didn't know what the Lions were going to do, right? We didn't know if they were going to move Glasgow. We didn't know a lot of big things. But here's what I wanted to see. I wanted them to move from Snacks, possibly move from Mayshawn. At line, I was concerned about right guard because of Glasgow, left guard because there was rotation, and then right tackle because of Rick Wagner, and I felt like, you know, he just wasn't the same player. And then finally, at linebacker, I wanted a coverage linebacker. At cornerback, I wasn't sure how bad the situation was. That's why I didn't have a high as a need as some people did, because I didn't think the Slade situation, you know, was as bad as it was. And then the edge rusher, I needed another pass rusher. So those were my needs. All right, now you're probably already thinking in your head, like, oh yeah, Lions did this, they did that. Oh snap, they filled out all those needs. And they did them so well, man. So we're praising the Lions today. I know some people want to see me bash on them, but not today. Trust me, that will happen when we start losing games. No, I'm playing. Let's talk about what the Lions did in free agency, all right? So the first need, which was defense tackle, my biggest need, biggest for me, because I know a lot of other... okay, I can't do this. It's going to be annoying. For some people, this wasn't their biggest need, right? For me, it was. I was like, Snack Saracen was bad. I said it multiple times in the video. He had 30 less tackles in 1 less game. This guy is not the same player. He wasn't stuffing the run. He wasn't opening up pass rushers like he did in 2018. He's not the same player. He's aging. We got to move on, cut him, save some money, put it towards a big free agent. Now, at the time, I wanted to go get Javon Hargrave. I wanted to go get Chris Jones. I wanted to get DJ Rader, someone like that, someone that I knew, someone that I thought about, someone that everybody talked about, someone that everyone on ESPN and all these guys, you know, bringing up. I wanted those guys because that's what I heard the most. All right, that's what I knew. That's what I wanted. I want the top one, according to ESPN, according to CBS. I want the top guys in free agency, okay? But what did the Detroit Lions do? Well, they cut Snacks Harrison. And as soon as they cut Snacks, I was hyped. I was like, thank you, Lions. Yes, you're listening. They let A'Shawn Robinson walk, who I felt like never played as a second-round player, unfortunately. So hopefully he proves himself with the Rams. I wish him the best of luck. And then Mike Daniels. So some people say he robbed us, right, because he barely played. I feel like he did play in a pretty good amount of games, but, man, he was just bad. He was just not that good. So, yeah. I don't know, though. I don't know. I don't even have a stats. He had like 1 sack last season or something. Yeah, it just wasn't well. Let's just move on. So Lions are just like completely new beginning. They're just like pure. This is freshness. This is Aquafina. This is Dasani. It's wide open. Defensive tackle. We have money. We have draft picks. Now we can fix it. And I thought the Lions were going to spend big money here. I was like, Lions are going to go get a big free agent. I predicted they signed DJ Reader. Lions said, no, you're crazy. They called me crazy. And I was like, okay, I see you. What are you going to do then? Here's what they did. They went out and signed a guy named Danny Shelton, who I said, after they signed him, who I've given a grade as the best free agent move they made because of the contract, the 2 years, $8 million deal. Oh my, you got this guy for what? For how much? I never would have thought. This guy could have gotten paid way big bucks. Didn't get that. Unfortunately, he's only on a 2-year deal, but it was $8 million. $8 million. That's crazy to me. He's going to fit in the system right away. He's starting material. He's coming off his best season. He had stats comparable to DJ Reader, okay? This dude was really, really good last season, and now he's our defensive tackle. For that price, Nick Williams costs more than this guy, okay? Nick Williams ain't the same player as Danny Shelton. I'm just being real here. Danny Shelton's a former first-round pick. Hasn't been great his entire career. I'm not going to come out here and act like he's been the best player or one of the top defense tackles every year, because he hasn't. There's a reason he's bounced around. He went from Cleveland to the Patriots. There's a reason they moved him. But with the Patriots last season, he stepped up in a big way. He was one of the top run defenders, which we need, and he's also able to force and open up some other pass rushers for the Patriots, and he fits in our scheme right away, which is perfect. I love bringing in the Patriots. So those people that hate the Patriot moves, you're not with me, because I love bringing in these former Patriots, man. I feel like it's going to help us day one because they fit the scheme right away. So they bring in him. Okay, I see you. Now what? Oh, we're bringing Nick Williams. Okay. Nick Williams is my biggest concern out of this entire group. Nick Williams, if you want to see a full breakdown, definitely go check out my video on it. But basically, Nick Williams has done pretty much nothing until last season. But last season, he came up with 6 sacks for Chicago. Now, he had a lot of pressure taken off him because of other talent around him. But Nick Williams is a guy that before that time, really every year, didn't really have much. 1 year was out because of injury. 1 year he wasn't even in the league. Just didn't have any kind of production, wasn't getting any playing time. The Bears finally gave him an opportunity, and he made the most of it, coming up with 6 sacks. And he earned himself a 2-year, $10 million deal, which is more than Danny Shelton's. I don't know how that worked out, but hey, you know what? It's okay. So they bring him in, who, if he can give you what you had last year from the Bears, this is an absolute beast again. I mean, you just got even better. If he doesn't, though, there's just a lot of question marks. I feel like his ceiling is not even in the league. I mean, not a ceiling. Oh, gosh, that'd be a terrible ceiling. His ceiling is the 6-7 sacks maybe at defensive tackle that can move around a little bit. And his floor is not being in the league. So there's such a range here. You know, some players you're like, okay, if he's at his worst, he'll be solid. Not with Nick Williams, okay? So that's kind of the biggest concern I have, but I do have confidence he can make it work. And then in the draft, we bring in John Pennicini. Now, people are making fun of his name, and maybe I don't know if I want to do shirts on that because I feel like it'll be inappropriate, but people making fun of my guy's name. But at the same time, he is still one of the top run stuffers once again in the draft, who had a very good pressure rate in 2018, not necessarily 2019, who, again, I felt like it was a steal. And he was my favorite draft pick of the 2020 draft. I love Swift. Swift, you're tied. But this was tied for number 1 because of the round that we got him, and we got him so late, and then we went out and got Jayshon Cornell, who I ain't going to lie, I didn't know nothing about, so I'm not going to tell you I did. But after looking at him, I feel like this guy could legitimately have a shot to make the team. So overall, Lions got a lot better at defensive line. Interior defensive line got a lot better. I've said it once. I'll say it again. I've probably said it 1,000 times by now. It all starts in interior. We got a lot worse when Snacks Harrison wasn't playing well, and we basically replaced that with Danny Shelton, who's younger, who had a better last season than Snacks did. I don't think he's going to be Snacks, but I think he'll be a big upgrade. You got depth. The big question mark I have here is Nick Williams. I'm going to give it a B+ as the overhaul for the interior defensive line. So I think it was good. Nick Williams, the only concern I really have. Moving on to offensive line next, okay? A lot of needs here, possibly, because I was like, okay, are they going to keep Graham Glasgow? Are they going to pay him back? Are they going to keep, Rick Wagner just because there's so many needs they have to fill? They said, nope, nope. We're moving Rick Wagner and we're letting Graham Glasgow walk. And I'm like, oh, snap. Okay, that's cool and all. That's hype, but we got a lot of holes to fill. And they did it, man. They did it. Now, the big thing about this one is that these are full of unproven players and question marks. So this is the one that I'm most scared of, probably out of any of them, because we got to protect Matthew Stafford, which, coming off of an injury last season and seeing him for not half the season and seeing that we went 0-8 without him, it just kind of puts in perspective. To all those people out there that want to say he's not good, let's move on. We went 0-8 without him. Come on, man. Anyways, you got to have him on his feet. And this is a place where I would love to grab a proven player like Conklin. Obviously, he went to Cleveland. We grabbed Big V. I think this was the first signing we made. I was actually playing basketball. Didn't know who he was. I didn't even know his name, Big V, at the time. I looked at him, and now that I've looked at him more, he's a young player. All right, I feel like after the second year of his contract, they can get out if they want to. Hopefully, they don't have to. Hopefully, they can rock with him for the 5-year deal that they gave him, that big monster deal. Okay, hopefully he's that good. So they got a guy locked up potentially if he balls out. He's younger than Rick Wagner by far, so he's going to last for a long time. He was a better run blocker by far. And he's a little bit of a better pass blocker when you look at grades. Now, the great thing is that, yes, he's been a backup, and I know that's the one big flaw against him, and I'm going to put it against him as well because it's a little bit concerning not to see him with starter time. However, he did have a lot of backup time. I'm talking nearly 500 snaps as a backup. So he's still had tons of time as a backup and tons of snaps and tons of opportunities. He's played in big games like Super Bowls, all right, and he's held his own, okay? So he's done well. He's behind maybe the best offensive line in Philadelphia. He was part of that, and he was behind 2 of the best tackles in the league. So how is he going to start? They just did a really good job drafting him, and potentially we got a starter that was hidden behind 2 other starters. So that's the big question of this group. Then at right guard, okay, we let Graham Glasgow walk. Okay, I wasn't necessarily a fan of it. I was like, okay, let's see what they do, though. Hold up. Let me hold my horses. I don't love it now, but maybe the Lions replace him. So what did they do? Well, they didn't go out in free agency. We were talking about guys, maybe Big V moves to guard, something. Nope. They said wait till the draft, and in the third round, they traded up to get Jonah Jackson. Now, historically, they haven't been great at trading up, but it just hasn't worked out as well. We don't know that for sure, though, because Will Harris was also a guy we traded up for in the third round. But we traded up to go get Jonah Jackson, and Jonah Jackson reminds me a lot of Graham Glasgow. He reminds Bob Quinn of Graham Glasgow. The great thing is that this guy, to me, is a day one starter. I think he's polished. There's not tons of polished offensive linemen past the first round. I'm going to be real. This guy, I feel like, is one of those guys that can't start day one. He's a great pass blocker. He's good at run blocking, but not great. But I don't think we needed that as much as we needed a guy that could protect Stafford. He gave him 1 sack in all of his years in college. He played at both Rutgers and Ohio State. To me, more impressive that you played at Rutgers, but then he went to Ohio State, started day one, had a huge impact. This is a guy that's polished and can help day one and replace Graham Glasgow. That's why I loved this move. But then what else we do? Well, the next round we took Logan Stenberg for left guard. So you're telling me we filled out all the needs? Yes, I'm telling you we did, that I listed. And at left guard we brought in Logan Stenberg, and the great thing is here. The great thing about this, we still have Joe Dahl and Kenny Wiggins, right? We brought back Kenny Wiggins and Oday Abushi. The great thing is that Logan Stenberg doesn't have to start day one. I don't know if he will. I feel like he's got some concerns. The major concerns for me, penalties. All right, he's got a lot of penalties. Pass blocking got a little bit better, but they didn't pass too much in Kentucky. The pro, this dude is a monster, and he's a crazy run blocker that just pancakes. He had the most pancakes in college football. If you want to see a breakdown on all these guys, check them out. I did a breakdown on every single draft pick. But Logan Stenberg is one of those guys that I want in front of Stafford. That's the kind of lineman I want in front of Stafford. Bob Quinn's nasty guys. Okay, we get Jonah Jackson. But Logan Stenberg is Mr. Nasty. So, I mean, you had to take him. So, boom. Offensive line, I'm going to give it a B. I feel like the line's got a lot better on paper. The problem is, will these guys pan out, right? We haven't seen those guys in the NFL. We haven't seen Big V as a starter. Can he take on that big role in the division with the Smith brothers, with, Quinn, with Khalil Mack, with the Vikings defense, with Griffin? We haven't seen that, well, not Griffin, but we haven't seen that kind of, him against that as a starting role. So can he step up, take that over, and protect Matthew Stafford at that tackle position? That is the hope. That is what we are hoping on, and that's why I'm going to give it a B, not an A, because he's not exactly proven to me, but I think there's potential there that he could end up being our best signing because he could be helpful for now and the future, and he's got all the traits to be one of the best tackles in the league. Now we just got to give him the opportunity. Now, next up, I had linebacker, corner, and edge. We'll start off with corner. Detroit Lions signed Desmond Trufant, right? We still have Slade that signed Trufant. I'm like, okay, nice, Lions. I see you. 2 years, $20 million. Let's keep him. Boom. I love it. Put him with Darius Slade, keep Coleman. Boom. Okay, let's just not move Slade now. Let's just have a great outside. We can go in the draft then and do something even else. We don't even have to worry about corner in the draft. Well, then we released Slay. And at the time, I was like, not released him. We traded him. I was kind of sad. I was like, oh, man, third and fifth, that's okay. But looking back at it, after what Darius Slay had to say after he was gone, we had to move him. So some people ask me, do you think that's addition by subtraction? Yes, it is. This is an addition by subtraction because this guy wanted out and you won't win games like that. And because the Detroit Lions were able to move on from him, acquire a third and a fifth, which ultimately led to basically Jonah Jackson. Okay, so that's great. And you got Desmond Trufant, and you were able to get Jeffrey Okudah. I think the secondary is better than it was last season on paper. And last season's secondary wasn't too bad. I think it's better on paper. You also added Darryl Roberts for depth. You added Desmond Trufant. You added Jeffrey Okudah, who was the third pick of the draft, the best corner of the draft. He can do it all, can tackle and play coverage very well and fit in the scheme, and he's great, at least from what we're told and watching film. All right, you still got Amani Oruwariye. He's going to grow into that role. I think at some point he'll be a starter. You still got the top paid slot cornerback as well, and you got depth behind him. Secondary, cornerback group, looks great. Way better than it did last season. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they did it. And, I do know now, but at the time, man, I just I just wasn't thinking about the big enough picture. Overall, I'm going to give this grade an A+. Yup. Cornerback looks real nice to me. And the thing is, these guys are proven. It's not the same concern. Now, Okudah's not because he's the third pick in the draft. You have to think that he can start away. But if he's not, if you can't, you got Amani. Okay, you got Trufant. You got Coleman. You have guys that are proven. Darryl Roberts. So I'm giving that an A+ overhaul. Then linebacker. The one thing I wanted at linebacker was this. I want to keep it simple. We got all these run stoppers, which we added more, Elijah Lee, Reggie Ragland, but we have those guys. I need someone that can help in coverage because, we got tight ends, running backs come out of the backfield. That's what we need. That's what we really need. Lions signed Jamie Collins. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me, Detroit? How do you do this? 3 year, $30 million. At the time, I was like, okay, I see you. It's kind of expensive, but I see you. But now looking back at how they were able to pull all of this off, and still get Jamie Collins, man. Now they got a guy that can help in coverage, that can blitz, fits in the system, can mentor some of these younger linebackers. Man, I don't even know how to grade that one. We'll move on. And then we'll do edge rusher. So edge rusher was probably the worst grade I'm going to give out here because I don't think they addressed it too much. I think they're relying upon what I think they are, and that is the interior gets a lot more pressure, secondary's better, and that opens up pass rushers. I think that's what it is because we've seen, look, let's not act like Romeo Cora didn't have 8 sacks in 2018 with Snacks Harrison balling out. All right, let's not act like that. Let's not act like Trey Flowers didn't have a good Snacks Harrison, okay? If we have good talent in the interior, it opens up pass rushers. Now you have a better cornerback group. I think that's what they're relying upon. So, edge rusher didn't do too much. They cut Kennard, which was kind of surprising at the time. They brought in Julian Okwara, who has first-round potential, some injury concerns. Overall, though, I'm looking at this. We got a lot of unproven guys. We got a lot of young talent here that you didn't have to go bring in anybody else because you do have a lot of guys that could be that guy, and you want to see it. You don't want to take away time for them and a chance for them to shine. All right, you don't want to take that away. And if worse comes to worse, maybe you trade for someone during the season at the trade deadline because you owe us one because last year was so boring. But maybe that's what you have to do, okay? Maybe that's what you have to do. But I think the Lions are going to do what I thought, and that's, kind of trust that interior to open up things and as well as the secondary. So, edge rusher wasn't something crazy. It wasn't something to, that blew your socks off, but it was solid. So, overall, man, I'm giving it an A-. I'm going to give the whole overhaul an A-. All right, y'all, now let me just hop in here real quick because I did forget to mention this. So, we're talking about, the needs they filled out, right? They filled out all these needs so well. But not only did they fill the needs, they also filled out places I didn't even have listed as our top 5 needs. Running back, way better, okay? No major losses, way better. Obviously, there will be cuts later. Tight end, you might have got the steal of the draft in undrafted free agency. You didn't even have to draft him. You got maybe one of the top tight ends just because of injury concerns. But he can also play wide receiver, all right? Honestly, wide receiver, Geronimo Allison depth, Quintez Cephas depth. The only place, like I said, you arguably got worse this offseason is punter because you got Sam Martin gone and you got Jack Fox and, Aaron Simples competing. But that's really the only position I can think of, right? Safety got better. Duron Harmon. Didn't mention that one before. Beast, man. Closer. Every position I feel like upgraded. So, maybe fullback got a little worse. You got Luke Sellers in there. I don't know. That's really the only position I can say is punter, honestly. So, yeah. I loved it. All right, I had to throw this in. All right, I'm out. You enjoyed the video. I feel like there's a couple of unproven things, like with edge rusher, some unproven players we already have, and that line, right, big V. Not exactly sure what we're going to get there. Hopefully we get a great big V, and then you obviously brought in a lot of rookies. So there's always question marks with rookies because you never seen them in the NFL. You don't know how they're going to pan out. I'm going to give it an A-. So we're wearing it today. We're representing. Shout out to you guys. Y'all killed it. Y'all killed it. So, man, and if there's some people in here that didn't like it, hey, I feel you. So comment below what you're thinking, like what grade you're giving it. I'm giving it an A-. Thank you, Pride, for watching. Make sure you click the link in the description, like I mentioned before. Go to the Dodge shop and cop a shirt. I actually already bought 2 of them, so make sure you buy one. Thank you, Pride, for watching. I'm out.